All right, my darlings, here we are again at Sacred Space, Titania's realm. It's 12:14 p.m. on the 3rd of March 2024. It's a bit of a cloudy but humid day today, so not all that pleasant. And my laptop informs me that it will be windy tomorrow. Good, that can blow out some of the humidity perhaps, or set a cat among the pigeons and flurry our meridians a bit. But I'm not bothered by wind all that much, since I come from one of the most windiest cities on earth, Wellington, New Zealand. I literally grew up right on the seashore, on the seafront, only separated by a street called the Esplanade from an island bay, Taputauranga Island out in the bay, right on the Cook Strait, watching the ferry, Inter-Island ferry, going past twice a day, and in summertime watching the whales traversing and breeding in the slightly warmer waters than Antarctica. It was delightful. If it hadn't been for my family of origin, I would have had the most idyllic childhood, but unfortunately I was raised by monsters, so there is that. So there were many hours spent at the beach avoiding my family of origin predators, just saying. And if I'd had my way even as a young child, I would never have come home at all, but had to go home for dinner and somewhere to sleep and, have school usually the next day. So there was that. Trapped by domestic and societal mores, or I would have run completely wild and free for the rest of my life and never looked back, right? But in the real world, we have to function in a society that's not all that particularly healthy for any of us, really, if you look at the broad scheme of things. But Charlie's onto something. She goes to bed in her cage, locked up only during the night, and the rest of the day when she's awake, she's a free bird and does whatever she wants, whatever. And she's very happy. So I'm still in recovering for the wonderful dance on Friday night, and had a wonderful time. And even though I'm still in recovery, I'm looking forward to next Friday. So I'm living from dance to dance, and in between I'm sharing my personal histories with YouTube. I see I have a new subscriber this morning. I think they were active on my YouTube channel yesterday. Could see lots more likes, and so welcome to my new subscribers. This is a channel, you've probably worked it out if you've been watching my videos, dedicated to in honour of survivors of child sexual abuse everywhere, people like me. Some of us have grown up to be decent people and, honouring and still processing our entire fucking lives. And others are not so nice people who've grown up to be predators as well. And I met my fair share of those out in the scene too, people that thought they could play me for a bit of a dick, to put it bluntly. Not nice people. So like in any vector of life or any society, you've got good and evil, and just because someone is a survivor doesn't mean they've come out of it a decent, honouring person. I just feel the urge to remind you of that, only the Holy One in all manifestations is the judge of hearts of souls, but those of us who've walked the line, literally walked the line to the brink of our own death too many times, admittedly we get a bit tetchy and a bit circumspect and a bit fucking judgmental too, as we've been burned too many times before, including in the sweetest, most innocent, most precious time of our lives, when we should have been fiercely protected by the adults in our lives, but we were not, and indeed were sold out over and over and over again. So this is not an easy channel to watch, because sometimes I go down deep into my own horror and grief and trauma and darkness. But if you stick with me, kids, you will see me also rise up in my own consciousness and grasp it, the beauty and the joy and the deep, profound, holy love that is extended to me, sometimes in astonishing ways, like that young lass on Friday night that ran over to me in the club and said, "I feel inspired to give you a hug," heartfelt and genuine and sincere. Mama T suspects that the young lass needed the hug more than I, but bear that as it may, love is love, and good, honouring, true, respectful love is always held deeply precious by me, because I've supped from the rot and the filth and the ugliness of fake and indeed brutal and sadistic and vicious and sordid and life-threatening love since infancy. So I know what kind of repast I'd prefer to enjoy when my appetites are awakened and indeed satiated by sweetness and goodness and kindness. And did you see how I put a barricade up there? It's almost an unconscious protective device. So I'm opening my hands out to the sweetness, the goodness, the kindness, the honouring, the protective if necessary, because I'm usually very self-protective, but I too can be fooled by evil and have been in the past. But I'm opening up to the joy, the deep agape love that flows to me daily from beautiful souls all over the planet that see my videos and comprehend what it is I am putting down for you. And indeed hoping to manifest in my own personal life, and you'll see me whine about that quite a lot, because I've been manifesting that for, well, in April it will be 59 years of existence on this planet, ever hopeful finding my truly loving, devoted, loyal, faithful to me, heartfelt, affectionate partner. That doesn't mean, gentlemen that are on my channel and or subscribe, that I want you. No offense, I'm sure you're beautiful and lovely and sweet men, but I do not do internet dating, and I allowed a bit of a frottering a few months ago, even though I said to that gentleman that I don't do internet dating. And as is usual with people who think that they fall in love on the internet, they're living in some psychotic delusion, and it always fizzles out or goes very bad, just saying. So you can love me, agape love, and you can enjoy my videos. I mean, they're here in the public domain, and all my truth is relevant and heartfelt and sincere. And you can have an idea that you're in love with me. Some of you verily, might be in lust with me too. But you have to manage your own sexuality and your own emotions, darling, because it's just not real. Unless you're in a loving, devoted, reciprocated, requited love partnership where each member of that union actually care about each other and have each other's back and actually spend quality time together, dating. Yes, dating, going out together, being proud and happy and joyous to be in each other's company. There is no real relationship, just saying. And I realise that I am the psychedelic dreamer. I often share my dreams with you because my dreams are deep teaching moments, if only for my own psyche. And sometimes we can glean other things from it, if where appropriate, where it happens by the will of the gods and the Holy One and all manifestations. But the psychedelic dreamer, who doesn't do psychedelics, by the way, so some of you are confused about that. That's my nickname based on that I dream in Technicolor, and some of my dreams are indeed precognitive and do manifest, or aspects of them manifest. And so I named myself that nickname when I was on Pal Talk many years ago, when I used to chat in the metaphysical and psychic and spiritual rooms. So the psychedelic dreamer is still dreaming of meeting her king to her queen, a man who can measure up to her and treat her with deep honour and respect and deep regard, and love her, or let's not depersonalise, love me in all the ways that I have never been loved before, and I look forward to that eventuality. And as I often say, it may not happen in this physical incarnation, it may only happen when I transmute this physical form one fine day, hopefully, at my appointed time, whatever the gods decree. Hopefully not too soon, but if it happens, it happens. That's life. Life and death are wrapped in an eternal lambada or tango, and death keeps pirouetting me back into life, often against my own will. So this is starting to sound a bit repetitive. I've shared this with you many, many times, but this is for new people, so you know what you've stumbled upon and what you're dealing with, and please don't get creepy. I have zero tolerance for people who get creepy with me. Because of my background, it's a very, very light hair trigger. So I'm being kind to you by sharing my stories because it may educate someone, it may help someone in some small way, and in return I expect kindness and respect back. Thank you very much. Just going to get my plug to plug my laptop in, because while I accept only respect, my battery's on low. My computer's not being very respectful, people. So, and we'll have to do it twice because my laptop has a gin in it and doesn't obey instructions, and it has its own free will. Haha. Bit like me and my bird, right? Here we go. It'll tell me in a minute. I'm waiting for the second message to say it's not plugged in. Sometimes it doesn't misbehave. Looks like today's a day when it's not going to misbehave, which tells you there's a gin in it, because I said it will play up, it did the opposite. Contrary-wise. All right, so laptop is apparently charging. Oh no, here it went. See? I know it so well. Listen here, machine, obey your mother. Here we go again. It'll be fine now. After you do it twice, it's like, okay, I'm being charged now. I'm being souped up. I'm being energized. I can do this life. Right? Sounds familiar. Right, I might even I can't see because I'm videoing. I can't see if this is low in juice, so we'll juice up the iPhone while we're filming too. That way I've covered all bases and we can just get into the flow. Right, there's a little bit of schmutz on my iPhone screen, which was right up my nose. It looked like I had a bogey, but I don't. But you can't see it anyway because it was on my end. So anyway, she sniffs. She sniffs appropriately. Today's readings of even date. Oh, it's actually very hot. I've just had a shower and even my eyelashes are sweating. Eyelashes don't sweat, people, so it's moisture still coming off probably from the shower, but sometimes it's perspiration too. Don't look too shabby today. I was a bit wrecked yesterday. My day of resting after my wild dancing. I was a bit, but not too bad, not as bad as I sometimes am. But I got a good mosh out to Zombie. It was brilliant. So thank you to that young man that came and demanded Zombie a bit early in the night. I cut loose and it was re-innovating of my spirit, and I feel beautiful and powerful and joyous, and that's my religion, people. Feeling beautiful and joyous, if not always powerful. So today's readings of even date, here we go. 3rd of March 2024. Ancient moribund griefs rebound on the cycle of life in the space-time continuum. Better luck next life, little girl. I love you. And here is a photo of my grandson, my only grandson. My daughter begat the son and heir. Ramon. As you can see, I chose him. He's got gothic markings on his back, look like a skeleton. And his eyeliner around his eyes, natural markings around his eyes. And he was indeed the sweetest rabbit and the most loving. And as soon as I laid eyes on him and took him up in my arms and looked at him and felt his energy, I said to Crystal, this is your rabbit. I have chosen him for you. She just looked at me and rolled her eyes, but she knows not to doubt her mother when it comes to choosing pets, because I'm very attuned to animal spirits, and well, most spirits, maybe not always attuned to human spirits. There were a few malevolent people in the club on Friday. I didn't talk about it in my video the other day because I don't like to wallow in the darkness, but there was some seedy fucking people, some very spiteful, envious women looking at me all contemptuously. But as usual, Mama T rose above it like a queen, because you can't do anything about hell-ridden imps. You know, that's the nature of their spirit. They're always going to be that way, and only the gods can help them and bring them to their own gnosis of how ignoble and fucking bitchy and seedy they are. And so I almost had to laugh, actually. The best thing you can do when confronted by people like that usually is just to laugh at them. Demons hate being laughed at. Must remind myself of that next time that nasty young lass comes along and starts her shit with me, because it's comical. Well, I did get the last laugh at the end of the night, didn't I, when Mummy or Daddy so arrogantly made them run for the car. Oh, I hate people who do that. My ex-husband used to do that to me too. It's fucking sadistic and dishonouring. They think it's funny, right? Putting you down and humiliating you, making you crawl after them. Mama T crawls after no man. I would have just simply gone, fuck you, caught a bus. But, you know, they're young and they were a bit drunk. In fact, they were very drunk by the end of the night. So, anyway, but all in all, I had a beautiful, wonderful night surrounded by people who do love me, treat me with genuine honour and respect and care, and even some friends that I know, well, they're not my personally close friends, but friends and acquaintances I knew from the casino even turned up at the end of the night, which was lovely to see them. They were a bit intimidated by the wild, boisterous crowd, though, and moved up the back. So I get it. It is very intimidating. I had to slowly acclimatise to it myself the first few weeks of coming and fortnights of coming to the Brooklyn Standard. It's a very busy club, and as the night wears on and the people get more drunk, it can get very rambunctious indeed. But so I've titled that photo Ramon the Rare Rabbit, 3rd of March 2014. So my beautiful boy, well, my daughter's beautiful boy, but I was his grandma. I was proud and happy to be a grandma, if only to a rabbit. It would have been nice if I'd been made into a grandma of actual human progeny, but it wasn't the cards that were dealt us, darling, so it is what it is. I don't have to like it, but it is what it is. Yes, my sweet little baby. What are you looking at? What's out there? What do you see? What do you see that Mama doesn't see with your birdie gnosis? It's windy. Is that what you're looking at? There's no birdies out there at the moment. Cookie's not out there. It's just you and me, kid, making videos for YouTube. I know. 3rd of March 2023. Windy, hot day. I got up around 10 a.m, exhausted, but I went right to work on my copper bangle. I had painted it with a clear gloss coating, but it had oxidized, turned green. So yes, that coating was triple glaze, which is meant to be a very good varnish. Not on copper, it isn't. I was so pissed off. So I had to sand all the clear gloss coating off, which took forever, then clean it with acetone. Annoying. Then I texturized 2 more bangles, and I've since purchased a product called Protector Clear, which is very good for putting a varnish or a coating on metal, and I've since done all my copper bangles with it, and even one sterling silver bangle, I think I did it too as well. And very good product, very happy with that, but it's hellishly expensive, and it's produced here in Brisbane by a local company, but oh boy, do they charge like wounded bulls. So I only bought a very small bottle of it because it was so expensive, and I'm almost scared to use it, quite frankly. I'm thinking about using it on my brass. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I need to buy rust converter and clean all my copper doorway and my brass Naga Kanye and my brass porthole out there. I'm thinking about using Protector Clear on those, then I won't need to polish them ever again. But I'm thinking about it because it's expensive. It'll use quite a bit, and I only bought enough really for doing jewellery. But anyway, that's a plan. That's another job on the books. Is thinking about preserving those. So I've got 2 Naga Kanyes, similar but smaller, on the front posts of my bed. I've got a timber 4-poster bed, and I screwed the Naga Kanyes on there too. Protection from the underworld, darling. It's probably why no lovers come to my bedroom, but that's okay, because the right man that hits the mother lode will be valuing and appreciative of being in my life and in my bed. So those nuggers are there, making sure I don't let any more fucking playboys or gimps or wankers or idiots into my private sanctum sanctorum and waste my time and my energies on this stupidity. The nuggers will make sure that my king is the only one that makes it to my bed in the future, if ever. I'm not going to give up on my asexual celibacy for anyone. Made that mistake a few times in the past after long periods of celibacy and asexuality, and each time I was always just used and or abused and let down. So therefore there'll be another 8 or 10 years of celibacy again. So the next time I unleash my sexuality, I'm hoping, quite hopefully, that it'll be someone who appreciates my mind, body and spirit and indeed soul, and is a decent, kind, loving, honouring, virile and passionate, but, man in love with me. Not me and every other female in the club scene or in the past in the casino scene. That's not love, people. That's just fucking debauchery. You know who I'm speaking to, don't you? Low-life entities that they were. Anyway, a real man for a real woman may only apply, and he will have to be in real life, not some random person on the internet. I'm sorry, that must be very disappointing to some of you, but that's how I operate, people. I might be the psychedelic dreamer, but I'm also a realist and a pragmatist. It's a fine line between pleasure and pain. If you do it once, you can do it again. Don't fuck it up, Mama T, 'cause we're not playing with the schoolboys now. We're playing real life now. Yes, Charlie. Anyway, I certainly don't want a relationship predicated on the BDSM syndrome type boys either. I don't want a relationship that's painful and tortured and ignoble, because the pleasure that comes with that is not exactly satisfying or sustaining or long-term. It's brief and it's tortured, and some people get off on that too. Not Mama T. We need someone kind and noble. I keep saying that, kind and noble. What I need is a man like me. Strong, powerful, but spiritually attuned and kind. Yes, my lovey girl. Yes, my lovey, lovey girl. What's going on? Feels like there's spirits around me because she keeps looking in every direction at everything. I've just been kicked off the internet. I wonder if my stories will stay up here. I hope that doesn't happen, because that will be really annoying when I'm trying to read to you. My laptop's the other thing. It just randomly throws me off the internet and I have to restart the whole laptop to get it to reconnect. First world problems, I know. There's far more worse things going on in the world than these trivial inconveniences. But they grind my gears. Anyway, continued 2023. I also did a few loads of washing. This was as well as making bangles, right? I'm going dancing tonight, but feel so exhausted. I don't know if I will have the energy. I promised Joe I would come dancing, as I usually do on a Friday night. Now that was in March 2023, a few months before I left the casino permanently after their viciousness when my dog had just died. And it was weird that she was asking me if I was coming dancing. It was almost like they were setting me up for a fall, right? She'd never bothered to ask if I was coming dancing before. Suddenly it was all, are you coming dancing? Like, very important that I be there. I was always there every weekend. So it was odd. And I was already highly activated and suspicious, by the way. You know, they underestimate my intelligence every single time. It's quite amusing, actually. So it was another reason why I decided when they were vicious after my dog died that that wasn't a space I wanted to be in anymore. When it gets fucking toxic and they start making demands on me and acting all weird and controlling and needy and desperate, it's time that Mama T moves on. That's how I roll. It is actually, here I wrote, was actually unusual for her to text me to make sure I am coming. Very highly unusual because she knows I'm there every weekend, right? But what's this about? Well, I found out on the 5th of August, didn't I, what that was about. It had been brewing for some time. She says the football is on tonight, so if that is still going by the time I arrive at 10 p.m, I'll probably just go back home. I abhor sport. I really do. I go out to dance, not to watch fucking sport people. But it was a sports bar, so I had to kind of balance that out. Usually if it was over by the time I got there, it was fine. If it's not, I'd sort of tolerate it for a while and wait for the bands to start. But that night I wasn't in the mood for hanging around while the football was on. I can't think of anything fucking worse. Watching a bunch of gronking men grab each other and the jocks squeezing each other for a ball, right? I've always found that a weird game. Always. But anyway, that's just me. That's just my thing. Everyone else is entitled to enjoy as much sport as they like. I just don't see the point in it. Never have. But my friend Joe was a passionate football supporter and used to go to all the actual games at the Gabba, and so that was her passion. And that's fine. Let her be happy. Enjoy her things. Just don't inflict it on me, please. 3rd of March 2021. I do wish they would quit sending me sarcastic little ditties first thing in the morning or last thing at night. And it's in response to a meme. I'm not Catholic, people, but I just found that absolutely delightful and hilarious. 3 nuns smoking, looking very frazzled indeed. Actually, one of them doesn't look frazzled. She looks downright bloody defiant. Bless her little cotton socks. Literally, bless her little cotton socks. She's a Catholic nun. A sister, I don't know what order they are. But anyway, that makes no difference to me. Walk thy walk, women and men of all spiritualities and faiths. It's a big, big universe and we all fit. That's my belief system, and I don't have any problem with anyone's faith or religion or spirituality. And harm ye none, do what thou willest. Right, come here, my darling. She's wanting to walk on the keyboard again, driving me a bit batty. So I showed you the photo, but in case you couldn't read the printing, my spirit guide's trying to figure out where the fuck they went wrong. Indeed, where did they go wrong? But more importantly, how did they go so very, very right that I'm alive today still sanguine, still joyous, still looking forward to my true love partnership manifesting, hopefully in the not too distant future, because I am getting old, people. It's getting ridiculous now. It's getting a little bit ridiculous. 11:11 p.m. The angels are watching, babies, unfurling my creativity, but not tonight, too tired, maybe tomorrow or soon. And a bit earlier that evening, the problem is all inside your head, he said to me. The answer is easy if you take it logically. I'd like to help you in your struggle to be free. There must be 50 ways to leave your lover. Spirit running this through my head, and can I say, very appropriate. Leave the dead shits in the gravel dust of their own making. 2021 this was. Had to go back and remember. Shake off the bad energy and unfurl my future, one breath at a time. Save my love for the ones that love me and politely circumambulate the rest. Can't bear the thought of any more fake trickster lovers. I can't. It's sickening to my core. Absolutely sickening. Today was a good day. I watched The Affair, Season 5. Just finished watching it. It made me think about love and how I was hurt and betrayed so often that I should buy the rights to my own fictitious love story and make it real someday. Oh, dear goddess. The pain wends itself through my kintsugi'd heart like a laser beam and a hot knife. Old friends are acting strange, or rather, avoidant. Former lovers haunting me in car parks. Here's looking at you, Dave. But no guts or glory to interface with me in real-world applications. The ghosts of family, past, present and future, calling out, boo! I had a nice chat with Crystal though. She made time to call me before she hit the hay early in the night as she has work at 4 a.m. So that was my only human interaction today. I played loud music early in the day to lift my mood and drive out the trauma memories and those pesky ghosts. I even sang along to some of the songs. Felt good to be alive, even if being alive means being alone in a dystopian fucking nightmare. I am happy I get to see this psychedelic dream out to its natural conclusion. It's going to be interesting, singing and dancing and punching out ever more skin cancers and watching my body unravel as my mind recalibrates into ever starker awareness. The Tanya, incongruent as ever, may still surprise herself. I'm going to buy a trolley on Pension Day. I'm going to get that cabinet inside my house if it kills me. And to be fair, it almost fucking did kill me. Literally bounced off my shin bone. I might have to make a ramp at the back steps though. I just need to do it, not overthink it. I spent last evening moving furniture around. I brought the shoe cabinet back into my bedroom and stuck it on the wall opposite my bed. It looks nicer there. It's a big change, as I've always had that quirky dancing queen painting on that wall. I moved her into the spare room. I'll show you who Dancing Queen is. She was a painting gifted to me by an artist I worked with. Well, I worked as a volunteer at the Logan Art Gallery. We're talking in 1998, I think it was. And one of the artists that volunteered, we all volunteered to work at reception in the art gallery there, came in one day and she said, I've been thinking about you, Tanya, and this fits your personality perfectly and I want you to have it. And it's entitled Dancing Queen, and the artist was Teresa Bulicia, who I haven't heard from or seen since, but thank you, my darling. Back in those days, I wasn't out dancing in the Brisbane music scene then. I was very badly struggling to survive constant threats of violence against me by a former lover, Israeli Moroccan, son of an evil fucking piece of shit bitch that threatened myself and my children for 18 months and got away with it. And I'm still angry about the fact that he was allowed to get away with that, because he's a monster and deserves to die. But having said that, I was trying to get myself, hopefully with prospects of getting a job, which never really manifested. I mean, I got the traineeship at the police academy the following year, but that was another hellish year, and I worked for a few months after that in such bullying, systemic, abusive jobs that I never worked again. So there is that. But 1998, I did enjoy volunteering at that art gallery, and it was once a week, so it wasn't a big burden on my time and my energy. And yes, that lovely artist friend lady gave me that beautiful quirky painting. And when I started dancing wildly out in the music scene round about 2011, I mean, I'd started dancing, I'd been out dancing since about 2005, with my friend Gail. I used to go to the Greenbank RSL and dance wildly there for all the tribute bands and pretend they were the real thing, since I've never been to the real thing. So there was one wild night I'd dance wildly for the Kiss tribute band, and the guys in the band were all done up in full makeup just like Kiss, and I'm like, yeah! I had a corset on that night. It's a lovely photo of me, actually. So I can't even remember the exact year, but yeah, I've been out dancing a lot since the 2000s. Back in 1998, I could not have imagined that I would be out being a dancing queen for real one day. So I used to dance with my children to de-stress from the constant threats. We would put on loud music on a Friday night, and my little girls and I and their little friends would come, and we'd dance in my rented home and de-stress that way. So I was still dancing, but just not out in public like I do now, out in the music scene. But by golly, dancing has been good for me and kept me alive and gifted me many hours of joy, and sometimes meeting unusual, quirky, interesting people and making a few nice friendships and a few fucking horrific friendships as well, which I had to heal from. And the sordid, dishonouring, disgusting love affairs that I had, not knowing that these people were fucking hell-ridden, demonic gimps, cost me a lot too. But through all of that horror and all of that trauma and all of that misery, I continuously held my head up high and kept dancing no matter what, except for 6 months when I was mandated out by my malfeasant government, and I think there was another 6 months prior when I stopped dancing at the casino because they were malevolent, and I took one of my good friends from there and we went around all the different clubs in the valley and around, and we had a ball and we just had the best time. And then after 6 months, word got back to me, oh, we want you to come back to the casino, Tanya, it's not the same without you, blah, blah, blah. And I liked dancing at the casino because they had a car park under the building and it was convenient, right? And also all my favourite bands came there regularly, and I had my own little spot. So I did go back after that time period, and it was fine for a while. And then the next thing was the government mandated me out for 6 months, and when I went back, they all said, oh, we thought you died. I said, oh, the reports of my death are greatly exaggerated, darling. It's not that easy to die. God knows I've tried. They just looked at me, They were happy. This was a security guard was happy that I was back. So I'm sure there's a few people up at the live wire bar at the casino that still miss me. But I don't put my energies in toxic places where I'm treated with disrespect and dishonour. So I'm glad I moved on, and where I'm dancing now, I'm verily treated like a dancing queen with great respect and honour, and thank you for that. I'll dance for you for as long as everything's copacetic and we're all treated sweetly and kindly, and hopefully that continues for a very long time. I danced in the Treasury Casino for 12 out of 13 years, so I'm a loyal customer, and I'm loyal to the dance, and I'm loyal to my true friends in the bands, supporting them all the years. And so I appreciate when the loyalty is extended back to me too. It's quite wonderful. Anyway, I continue. March 3rd, 2020. Just needed a drink, sorry. I'm sitting out with Charlie as the poor bird was locked up all day, as I was too weak to take him outside yesterday. She laid her first eggs in December 2020, I think it was. Might have been 2021. And that's how we found out that Charlie is a girl birdie. Because she laid eggs. Because boy birdies don't lay eggs, Charlie. Okay, Mama T. I'm eating a mango as I need nourishment, but I'm fairly wary of food right now. No appetite really, which means I am in deep trouble. As everyone knows, I eat voraciously. It was a struggle to get down the stairs and up again to bring out Charlie's food, which is weird because it's only 3 steps going down my back steps, right? Must have been very weak indeed, very weak. So I'm just sitting, enjoying the sounds of the fountains and the sunshine streaming through the garden. No wind today, just a peaceful vibe. Yesterday was rather remarkable. I was lying in bed begging Azrael to take me. In and out of consciousness, with my fever and coughing fits, I was sleeping lots. Still wasn't COVID, by the way. Didn't get COVID till October 2021. Till 21 of October 2023 last year. So I'm still astonished by that, actually, because they carried on like, oh, well, you're all going to die and you're all going to get COVID and you're all going to terrorise the entire population. I didn't catch it for 4 years. Mind you, I don't mix out in public all that much except to go dancing and to go to the supermarket or occasionally look around a shopping centre. But very rarely do I go out into the world, almost an agoraphobic type life, really. It's hard to get me to go anywhere now. But not because of COVID, just because I just got no inclination to go to things much. I guess if I had a lover who invited me out to places, I probably would enjoy going out with that person, but hasn't happened yet, has it? So it's moot. But I'll probably go and visit my friend Lynn later on this afternoon because I said to her I might come and see her today. But it looks like we're going to get rain, so that's a bit annoying. I was hoping to have a swim at her place, but the weather's doing strange things today. But anyway, I may still go and visit her. Yesterday was a beautiful day. It should have gone yesterday, but I was still in a state of exhaustion, so I thought it's not good to drive in that state. You know, because I have obstructive sleep apnea, so I actually, am legally obliged to not drive when I'm overly tired. It is dangerous. I thought to myself, I am going to die alone. So what else is new? Then I thought, oh well, we come onto this planet alone and we go alone. I asked Azrael to hold my hand as I did not want to feel so alone in my febrile weakness. Out of the blue, some young man messaged me on Messenger, a complete stranger, but he had liked something I had said on an esoteric group. Liked as in, Facebook, if you write a comment, put a like on it. So I checked him out, how he found me, because I didn't know him from Adam. And I thought, oh, okay, he's responding because he's interacting with me because of that. But it was so highly unusual and out of left field. I continue. Pardon me. I was very suspicious at first. So many scammers and love rats out there. Here's looking at you. Anyway, I won't name it. It knows who it is. But the guy was only 20 and was polite and respectful, so we chatted for a long time. In the end, I had to go as I was so ill, I needed sleep, but it struck me that as soon as I asked the angel, Azrael, in my imagination, that I don't want to be alone, he sent me a random earth angel on the internet to keep me company. Life is weird, but surprising sometimes. So, and that young man was indeed delightful and respectful and sweet. And I actually contacted him after I got better and thanked him. And he was like, oh, that's all right, no worries. Didn't stay in contact. So it was completely bizarre. His mission had obviously been fulfilled, talking me through a dark night of the soul when I actually thought I was going to die during that night. Well, I can't have been that bad since I recovered almost as astonishingly quickly as I got sick. It was a very quick recovery. So that angel healed me in more ways than one, sending me an earth angel to keep me company and to heal me so rapidly. It was indeed supra-natural, my darlings. As often happens in my life when I get desperately ill, it's quite astonishing. I've astonished myself a few times. I posted a article, Victoria's, the state of Victoria, voluntary assisted dying law has changed my life. Will it change my death? And I responded, Gisela also had a long, slow, tortuous death, as did Case. I hope my eventual passing will be peaceful and easy. Well, we all wish for that, don't we? Every mortal, every living creature on this planet wishes for that. Having watched both family members suffer, I hope to avoid the same fate, not because I am a coward. I have fought for my body since very early childhood, having quite a few near deaths even in early childhood, people. But because it is the absolute decent thing to do, letting people die with dignity. And I'm a fierce proponent for that. 3rd of March 2019. Oh, bit achy today. I actually considered going, Charlie, did she? She did, didn't she? I actually considered going dancing again last night, which was a moment of madness because I was actually astonishingly fatigued. But the spirit was willing, albeit the body was weak. It's quite astonishing how actively I choose to dance now. 3rd of March 2019. I had a lovely afternoon with my beautiful, soulful, nurturing friend Lynn. She is one of 2 people in my life that loves me completely. Love you, Lynn. Indeed I do. She's got some very strange ideas at times. Yesterday she rang me. I shouldn't share this story because it's a bit fucking gross, but she's obsessed because I have the bird. She obsesses constantly about me getting parasites. So she rings me up yesterday and she says, do you know what worms look like in your fecal matter? Yes, Lynn, I reply very, very accommodatingly. Yes, Lynn, I know what worms look like. I had them as a child and it's gross. She goes, they're all white and stringy and they got little white eggs. And yes, Lynn, I do know what they look like. Try not to vomit a little bit in my mouth, right? And yeah, well, you need to look for that because you may have worms, Tanya. I don't have worms, Lynn. How do you know you don't have worms? Have you looked? I said, yes, from time to time I have a look. She says, well, you know how you used to have the colonoscopies? She said they don't find the worms because the worms burrow deep into the bowel cavity wall. That's why they never diagnose worms, Tanya. Okay, Lynn, okay. And I'm just worried that you might have worms. I went, Lynn, even my own fucking mother used to occasionally, in rare occasions, give me worming, concoctions. It was chocolate flavoured stuff. I said, I know that worms can be a problem. I worry about you being infested with parasites, Tanya. Okay, Lynn, you're the best mother I never had, Lynn. Thanks. I do love her though, don't get me wrong, I do love her though. But it's fucking weird how she obsesses about what comes out of my nether regions. But, it's because she worries about the bird. The bird's the least of our problems, darlings. Humans I've got to avoid like the plague, literally like the plague. And the parasites, it's a little bit of a projection because now that we've all had, many of us have had, how can I put it delicately, have survived the entire 4-year COVIDian cult. Many of us have our own infestations and are creating, as we speak, our own gelatinous substance of type wormy looking things growing in our arteries and brain, and well, that is more of a worry than any other kind of parasite. But the worst parasites of all, my darlings, are the mind viruses, where we're fed fear and disease and hypochondria and death cults and told that we can't survive this life, when I'm living proof that indeed we can, as long as you protect and defend your body autonomy. And the rest of you people that followed the narrative for whatever reasons, usually to keep your job or put food on the table for your families, and you actually were coerced into it, I'm so sorry. But natto kinase, 72-hour fasting, eat healthy, live healthy, be free of mind, body and spirit, guard your spirit, guard your body, drive that filth out of your system. And the rest of you that actively chose to do this to yourself because you thought it was a fashion, or you got a free donut or a football ticket, well, you know what you've done to yourself now. I need make no comment on that. But I would just say, but what can you do? It was a global campaign of the most intense propaganda and mass formation psychosis. I almost succumbed to it too at one point. I came very close. And then I realised, no, the more pressure that is applied, the more suspicious I should be. And that's how I roll in life. As you heard me say earlier, when friends at the casino were pressurising me to be at the temple, dear goddess. Well, I used to get pressurised to be there back in the day when I was a religious Jew too, believe it or not. But to be at the live wire bar, as soon as there starts being a coercion and a kind of a pressure and a demand placed upon me, I do the opposite. I'm always suspicious of people trying to demand my attention or demand that I be in a certain place at a certain time. There's always an agenda behind it. I might not know what the agenda was, or will be. I might not always have that information, but it usually comes to light, as it did when my dog died. But they didn't have nice intentions towards me at all. We're not truly loving, supportive friends, and literally kicked me in the face, to my face, which is refreshing, you know. I'm used to being stabbed in the back. It's a bit refreshing when they stab you right in your fucking face, though. You know, a bit more honest too. At least you know what you're dealing with then. So anyway, but that too proved to be a great gift, because here I am enjoying my wild dancing in another venue where I do feel valued and appreciated most of the time. So, to you, Brooklyn Standard. Find your vibe, find your tribe. It's a truism that I have found borne out in my life many times to be accurate. Find your vibe, find your tribe. If you hang around with malfeasant, negative people that only peddle in death, then that's all you're ever going to have, is negativity and death. But if you surround yourself with people who are hopeful and loving and nurturing, and even my friend with her obsession with my asshole and worms is by and large nurturing and loving and kind and protective. Her intentions are indeed honourable, even if sometimes it comes across as a little bit gross. But who stood with me through thick and through thin, through the worst horrors perpetrated against a woman and her children, has stayed a faithful, loving, loyal friend for 35 years. So I tolerate the few strange, quirky things that are starting to manifest now. But those kind of friends that have loved you no matter what, through thick and through thin, and that I in return have returned the love to them, no matter what, through thick and through thin, they are deeply precious and guarded zealously by me. So don't misunderstand what I'm saying here. I'm just concerned about our society and the worm literally turning, like that ancient worm of mythology that burrowed underground and then devoured entire cities. It's a bit fucking like that, isn't it? Think about it, people. But happy thoughts. There will be no happy thoughts today. I'll tell you why. It's my father's yahrzeit today. Here I continue reading. So switch me off if this is too dark for you. I don't want everyone on the planet to wallow in darkness. I want us to wallow in truth and light and self-determination and courage, and to fight against the evils of our time, and to constantly evolve and become a stronger, more powerful, more loving, more beautiful version of our own selves, so we can have a life on this planet that is worth having. Build lives for our children and our grandchildren that is worthy and protected and safe and joyful and indeed triumphant, given we've come out of this horrific darkness. Do you see how I made unconsciously a cage around my heart? Guard your children with your lives, people, more than ever before, not just against the child sexual abuse that is endemic on our planet, and a foulness and a filth that is deeply horrifying and ghastly, but against the other foulnesses perpetrated on us daily. Guard them, because they will be the men and women of our future. And I fear for their fertility. I fear for what kind of lives they'll be living when they're in their 30s and 40s and 50s, by the way. Yesterday we had more threats from Putin with regard to nuclear holocaust. It's not enough that they inflicted this on us, but now they threaten us with nuclear annihilation. They're completely idiotic dogs is what they are. So fight by going into your own hearts and souls and remaining true to your own spirit and honour, and by loving your families and your friends and your pets, and rejoicing in that love and growing your own community back out in manifestations of love and heart and courage. Because in a millisecond, some motherfucker can go and we won't have any control over that or say. And it's a terrifying prospect. So don't give in to them. Live joyfully anyway, if only as a defiance. I have spoken. Anyway, my father's yahrzeit, which is the anniversary of a person's death, although he was not a Jew, a spiritualist, a converted Baptist for his second marriage, which I actually thought was quite hypocritical and hilarious, really, but he had to do what he had to do to get his woman, right? That's how weak he was. Gave up on his own faith, becoming a converted Baptist so he could get regular sex with a woman that despised him anyway, and the marriage failed not long after. Anyway, you have to laugh. You do. It's sad, but it's true. Here I write, a weak, vicious, treacherous man. No wonder I attracted so many men like that, because I was programmed by it, having a father like that, right? Jesus. Sorry, Jesus, it's not your fault, actually. It's the monsters that begat me. I was begat by monsters. Completely begat and spawned by them, by the way. filthy it was. My father was envious of me, of my light, my courage, and my strength. He aligned himself with all my abusers, including the last one my mother married. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, slaughtered any love I had ever felt for him, which was deep and stoic in early childhood, in spite of his constant betrayals. A love so strong that my half-sister had commented that it pained her to see me love him so much, my father. A man who refused to protect us. But children love in the purest, most innocent, most delightful ways, and sometimes we love out of a primitive sense of survival. Then we grow up, wise up, and learn to love in other ways, ways that nurture our souls and give us inner peace, far away from the mad, bad family of origins and their filthy henchmen. So I was left with psychic damage and a love attachment disorder. Sad but true. Thanks for that, Dad. You even interfered in the love affair with David the Devo Davidson. In my early marriage, you tested me on a beach on holiday in Tauranga, seducing a couple of young men to flirt with me. Go for it, you said. I was sickened. I was nothing more but sexual bait to you. You wanted me to debase myself by having an affair. Well, my former husband and I had many issues, even early on, but I never cheated on him, except towards the end, and then only emotionally. That's when I fell in love with my friend Jared, who was indeed a true friend and remains a true friend to this day. That's how bad my marriage was, that I could fall in love with another man, seeking safety and loyalty and true friendship. Someone kind, because I hadn't had much of that during my marriage. Trust me on that. Constantly bad-mouthing me viciously to my mother and his mother when she was still alive, his sister and brother-in-law in New Zealand, his brother in Melbourne, the viciousness, it would just, and my own staff, putting me down to my own staff members. It was constant and chronic and debilitating and evil and foul. That's the calibre of man I stupidly married at 19 and 1 month. As a teenager, seeking safety in a family of my own, I left frying pan directly into the fire, and I don't know which was worse. Both family structures and dynamics were just as perverted and evil as the next, really. Disgusting is what they were, and still are, by the way, because they don't change, those kinds of people. I continue writing. I was starving for just one decent person to just love me without constant cruelty and viciousness. Just one. I found that in my dear friend Jared. Oh, how they hated me having a true friend of the male gender. Now, I already had Lynn in my life. Lynn's been in my life since only a short time after arriving in Brisbane, but I'd never had a male friend before to stand by me like Jared has done. That has been a huge gift too. And my worthy psychiatrist as well for the last 13 years has been true and loyal and loving and protective. And a few other friends as well I can mention, but those were the main two that stood by me in the worst times of my life. So bad I almost died, people. Not once, but many times. That's how bad it was. How they viciously attacked us and slandered and maligned us, Jared and I. But we both survived, and I got my divorce. And 27 years later, that friendship is still one of the most precious to me. 32 years later now. So if you love me and you treat me with respect and kindness, I'm a long-term friend and or lover or partner. But you've got to meet me as an equal. You've got to date me. You've got to treat me with honour and respect and integrity. You've got to build a life with me, or you won't be in my life. I'm not settling for less. I've had less, way fucking less. I never found a true loving sexual partner, not once in close to 54 years, now almost 59 years. But my friends are my lifelines and have brought me much comfort and joy over many decades. So, Daddy, wherever you are, knowing you, still slavishly orbiting that evil narcopath Gisela, my mother, as your ashes are all commingling on King Island, Wellington Point. Have a nice eternity. Stay the fuck away from me. Thanks. And I feel the same way about my father today as I wrote back then. Stay the fuck away from me. And stop sending your shadow men that bear your name, David or Davidson, or if not bear your name, bear similar attributes of your spirit, and just as malfeasant and ugly and false. Because I see you rising up like fucking shadow puppets in some macabre circus fairy ground thing, you know, the ones where you got all the ducks in the row and you're trying to shoot them down and they just keep coming and they come faster and faster and you're trying to keep up with it all. That's been my life. The evil shades manifesting as false lovers and false friends. So you can imagine why I'm done now, can't you? Completely done. And why I constantly talk about rejoicing in true friends, like my friends in the bands that are sweet to me when I go dancing each week, each Friday, and my true friends in my other world, in real world applications that I see regularly socially, like Lynn and Jared, who we do go out together and enjoy fun times together out, usually going to art galleries or the museum or little day trips. We do have that, you know, heartfelt, sincere relationships based on decades of friendship. So that's why I rejoice in all that. What else have I got left, people of Earth? The only pet I have left is Charlie and 2 goldfish still left alive in the pond out the front. And all the wild birds that come to my garden, and the possums. And, you know, my little doggy friends that visit me, my neighbour and friends down the road. She came to visit me yesterday, Robin with little Coco, you know. I have a few cousins, one that lives in Cairns, but I see very rarely, and the rest in New Zealand who haven't actually met in real life. We only had this internet relationship. So I do have family, but not really family around me to support me. Both my daughters have abandoned me now, both of them. Guess it was inevitable, you know. So, yes, I am a bit pathetic, and it is a bit sad, a little bit tragic, but I nourish and nurture the people that love me back and enjoy and delight in my company, and my bands that play the beautiful, my bands, cute, that play the beautiful music and encourage me in my wild shamanic dancing, because it's very healing for my mind, body and spirit, and indeed soul. And the men that treat me with sweetness and romantic overtures, even though it can't go anywhere because they're married, but blow me kisses and I blow them back, and deep affection and sweetness. Those things are precious to me, deeply precious. I may not always show it because I'm trying to pull back and rein it in case it turns into something that cannot be contained. And when you fall in love with people, it's a beautiful thing, but the circumstances have to be right. Has to be a requited, loving partnership for me, or I can't go there. I can't live in that level of pain anymore. But the love is real between us. It's real and it's heartfelt and it's sweet. And I know that. I do know that. So, but Mama T has to put cages around her heart and contain it carefully and preserve it carefully, lest she fall again into a situation that is cruel and untenable. And we don't want that. I don't want that for my friend, and my friend would not want that for me either. I know that for a fact, because he's a decent man. So I continue on. I was utterly exhausted yesterday, mentally and physically. In the afternoon, even my vision blurred. Just going back to what year this is. See, I forget, even while reading to you. 2019. Well, that was a few months before I had the gallbladder surgery, so I was actually very ill indeed. So I did not go dancing the second night. I went to bed around 9ish and passed out, which again is very unusual to go to bed so early and literally pass out. I just woke up at 10:30 a.m, still feel weak. I worry about my legs and feet and fear that I may not be able to walk in the future. Scary thought. So I will keep resting and praying and hoping for a better outcome. I have been badly affected by the news about Cardinal Pell, and of course, coming across his apologists on groups I've interacted in on Facebook has been distressing. Pedophile enablers is what they are, and they are disgusting, those types of people. I know, because I was raised by them. I have unfollowed SEDIC after foul comments they made. They took them down, and I'm seriously thinking about leaving another group. So once again, this means that I, as a survivor, am stigmatised and marginalised for fighting for, defending, caring about myself and other survivors. The world is full of elitist intellectuals with no fucking soul at all. Thomas Sheridan calls those types that have no souls. The lights are on but nobody's home. NPCs, non-playing characters. And he's quite right about that. There's a lot of them around now. It's astonishing, very astonishing and confronting and frightening. Who rationalise the most debased aspects of human behaviour and attack me for calling them out on their bullshit. See Google Gemini being an apologist and rationalising pedophilia. AI trained to rationalise pedophilia. What does a machine know about the pain inflicted upon a child being violated sexually by an adult or indeed another child or teenager? What does a machine know how that feels? How debasing and destructive and demoralising it is to a person, to a child? Knows nothing, but they've trained it to rationalise it. It's completely filthy and evil. So Google, that runs this YouTube platform, you know what I think of you, don't you? You better remove that soon, because you deserve to be wiped off the internet forever. To even rationalise that level of filth against children. Shameful and disgusting is what that is. Mama T has spoken. I have pushed myself to survive, even attempt to thrive, 1,000,000 times. What is one more day, hour, minute, but a fucking eternity when all is a pure hell? Well, I have only survived on the crumbs of real love gifted me by true loving hearts, and that had to be enough. That had to be a richness that suffused every core of my being. The rest of the ignoble, virulent, cruel trash can go fuck themselves, including the slanderer from 1989 that advocates for other victims or survivors, but never once has had the decency to apologise to me. Yes, I should leave that group for that reason alone. And I did eventually leave that group, by the way, because it was filthy what they were doing, making themselves out to be good people, advocating on the issue of child sexual abuse while being predators themselves. Hypocrites and scum is what they are. Here's looking at you, slander from 1989. But what can you do? It's an NPC with no soul. You can't put souls in where it's lacking people. Even God has to allow for free will. You seed your soul, you'll never get it back, people. Seriously. So guard it well. And as I said, guard your children. They are our future. Too many filthy, false hypocrites faking support for the children. I am quite done. For me to have a lovely, sane life, I have to cull the monstrous trolls in my life. I have to be selfish, greedy, shallow, and self-centered like them. Can I do it? Is that who I want to become? Nay, but rest, I must rest, and declare the greatness of my God, who brought me through worse hells than this, and let me become older and frail, and threw even more false bastards at me. Well, I detached from those, smiley face. Life goes on until it doesn't. And life is indeed short, people. Even though I have managed to survive to almost 59 years, if you look at the whole spectrum of eternity, it's a tiny, tiny, tiny dot. So short. So make it beautiful and make it holy, make it precious, and spend time with ones who truly love you and forget the rest. Don't let them take up your time and energy and headspace and sully your spirit with their filth. You know who you are. I know who you are too. And once I know who you are, I can never look at you the same way again. 3rd of March 2018. Today was my progenitor David Ian Phillips's 1st year anniversary of his death, in Yiddish called Yahrzeit. What can I say? A lot has happened in a year. And it's been 7 years now, and a lot has happened in 7 years too. And I'm finally blossoming and growing past all that ghastly horror. And I'm so grateful for that. Very grateful. The moon was full, our energy heightened. Jenny and I wore our best and wildest outfits. Men salivated, women admired, in awe at our audacity. The live wire bar throbbed with joie de vivre and dervishes of mad women. Old lovers came to have a quick little spy. Dave, as they do. Sad little NPC he turned out to be, didn't he? Didn't even have the courage of his convictions to leave me completely alone. Still circles me on the roads of Brisbane from time to time like a sad ass. But oh well, we can laugh about it now that the pain is packaged up and thrown away the key. Can't hurt me anymore, you motherfucker. I have real loves in my life, men who do adore and cherish me. So go dance on your small corner of hell where you belong, baby boy. My friends supported me in my thriving jive turkey demon stomp. I am exhausted but content. Powerful moon, powerful women, awesome. Third of March 2017. Shabbat Shalom. This orphaned hellion, Jewish, Viking, witch, and we can add to that my latest label that I only just accepted in recent years, shaman, is keeping her appointment with my friend Chris and Tony Childs. The dead are dancing. My former family of origin, who did nothing but abuse, betray, slander, neglect, shall never grind me down. Never. I fly on wings of universal love. My parents are, bear in mind I've just received news that morning that my father had died. This is how I rise above the filth, people. Remember that always. My spirit is powerful beyond measure and loving beyond measure. My parents are the sun, the moon, the stars, the wind, the sea, the earth, and a few brave, beautiful individuals that hold me precious. Blessed be to those who truly love me. So mote it be. In 4 days' time, it will be the yahrzeit, 11 years, of my mother. No wonder I'm feeling haunted and hunted, which is haunted without the A. The English language is as quirky and problematic as my vicious progenitors. Sighs, 11 years and 4 years respectively. Time marches on to the Mad March Phillips's death apocalypse, but the Tanya has continued in her survival mode to her own becoming, and with the grace of the gods and her determined and generous friends, thank you, my loves. She is hanging by an invisible, invincible gossamer thread. Oh, sorry, Charlie. Like a newly hatched spider seeking a new web of existence. I have fought hard in recent weeks, trolls online and my own morbid dystopian griefs. I have plumbed the depths of my own mortality and reached almost euphoric heights with mad epiphanies and sly soliloquies, enough to drive me mad completely. The love I poured into certain people, the living and the dead, that flails uselessly like a gnawed-off limb in a rat's graveyard. Enough to make a poet of myself, playing on the word Edgar Allan Poe. Poet of myself, and interrupt my dreaming with sadness and regret. Time is slipping through my gnarled fingers, or this one particular gnarled, like a colander emptying out pasta water. I am watching it flow so fluidly and silently. They are waiting for me, you know, the dead ones, the cruel and vapoured ancestors, and the genuinely lit angels. Looking forward to meeting my angels one day, that's for sure. Waiting for me to get some semblance of a more successful, more joyously loving life. But I slavishly crawl in deserts of trauma and dereliction. And don't poo in my hair, Charlie. What are you doing? So I repeat that again. But I slavishly crawl in deserts of trauma and dereliction and spit out the sands of time that eternally fall from my watery, wasteful colander, and my hands grab at hope. That is the rarest jewel of all, contrived and tucked away in the deserts of mind. It visits occasionally when I am out of my mind and out of patience with my own self, a gift or a mirage, a long-suffering becoming. Aight, time to schloof. Schloof means sleep. else I might not make much sense, and I fear senselessness more than sensibility. My pride fell for the prejudice, and my waiting has always been Godot-esque and as grotesque as that metamorphosed cockroach that so perfectly mirrors my one true but ever elusive love. Hopefully, when my true love chooses me next time, he won't be a cockroach wallowing in his own filth, but a human man of heart, mind, body, spirit and soul who adores me honourably and completely and sweetly and genuinely, and all the other manifestations I put out, generously and romantic and passionately, with loyalty only to himself and to me. A union of truest, deepest love. That's what I've been waiting for, holding on for all my life, people of earth and birdies of earth and pussycats of earth and doggies of earth and all the fishes in the sea and all the stars in the sky and all the gods hear my wish and my dreaming and my truth, baby girl. Charlie says, I know, Mama T. I love you, Mama T. I love you too, Charlie. You was a good girl, Charlie. Can I have a kissy kissy? Kissy kissy. She's not in the kissing mood. Sometimes she is. Sometimes she's a smoocher. Aren't you, Charlie? You a smoocher? She says, no, Mama T, I don't do public displays of affection. There's an audience watching us. They cannot see me give you kisses. It's inappropriate, birdie num num love. Okay, Charlie, you was the boss. Here I posted the song from YouTube, the song The Rose by Bette Midler. And I write here, my dad's favourite song he used to sing to me, probably why my love affairs have always been fucked up by psychopaths and narcissists, was my parents, although they were malfeasant and evil and perverted and betrayed me even in early childhood, enabling the family predator, were romantics and idealists. And there were moments when they could be profoundly sweet. So sweet it was toxic and dangerous, but I have to be fair, there were times when they were romantic and sweet. But I couldn't trust in that either, which is how it destroyed all my love relationships with human men, because when men are playing me sweet, which I take delight in, the back of my amygdala is saying, oh yeah, well, that's all very fine and dandy, but how long is that going to last till they've got their hands on your throat or they've fucked you over in some other evil, awful way? And it doesn't usually take all that long before the true colours start manifesting. And I often wonder, is that them or me? My spirit expecting the worst, manifesting the worst. I used to blame myself a lot till I realised, how was I to know that they were like that when they came in so sweet and loving and generous and kind in the beginning, and even had my friends fooled and my family fooled. Davidson had even seduced my father, and my father said, "Do you want him?" I said, "Well, yeah, of course I want him, but the man has free will. I'm not going to force a man to love me, because that's weak and pathetic." And I said, "He's playing me and he's playing all the other women in the Jewish community. So really, do I really want that for myself? When I knew I deserved at least someone who's loyal and faithful to me, at barest minimum." But Davidson, for his part, was obsessed with my father. I'd get phone calls, "I'm worried about your father." I wouldn't worry about my father. Never fucking worried about anyone else but himself. So don't get lured in by the fact that he's spiritual and can have discourses with you about Gurdjieff and Uspensky. I said, knowledge is power, but if it's got no heart behind it, it doesn't mean shit. Anyway, Davidson thought he could manipulate me via my father, and my father thought he could manipulate me via Davidson, and in the end it went bad for both of them, because I could see the two Davids were nothing but dead shits in the end, even though I had loved them deeply at certain times of my life. By that stage, I was already well aware of their game and their sickness and their weakness and their debauchery. Sad but true. It's probably why I dreamt of Davidson recently, a few days ago. Was it a few days ago now, or a week ago? Because the spirits know that this week is a hard week for me, being the anniversaries of his death. They're probably still enmeshed, those two. Oh well, they can't hurt me anymore. I have the power to invite into my life good, kind, loving people, and so it is, and so it shall always be from now to eternity. Because I'm done with the horror and the ghosts and the ghouls from the past. Just had a phone call that my father, David Phillips, died last night. I was told, so he actually died during the night of the 2nd and 3rd. I think he died around 2 a.m, so it was the 3rd of March, but anyway. I was told they were instructed to let me know. I am utterly disgusted. That was my reaction to being told, right? I told the woman, my father is estranged to me and has done nothing but abuse me my whole life, so I will not be taking responsibility for his body or funeral arrangements. They did invite me to his funeral. I didn't go. Didn't have the money, and he probably did allocate money, and they probably would have paid for me to go down to Shepparton, Victoria, but I wasn't prepared to put myself through that for a man that had been so dishonouring to me my entire life. I'm not that much of a fucking gimp. But they did make me take responsibility for his ashes, and I got the ignoble honour of scattering his ashes, so they took forever to send him up to me. It took about a month actually, and then when he did eventually arrive, the postman brought it, and I went to hand it to me at my front door. I said, just deposit him there at the top step, he's not to enter my house. And the poor Maori postman started shaking because he hadn't realised it's tapu. It's tapu to hold a dead person's remains, right? In the Maori culture. I said, go home and have a shower. He can't hurt you. I said, but he's not entering my door. He's not welcome in my home, ever, dead or alive. So my father's ashes remained at my front door until the tide went out, was low enough on the Sunday. He arrived on the Friday afternoon. Or Friday morning it must have been, yes. And we had to wait, my friend Jared and I, till the tide went out during the afternoon on the Sunday to make the long walk out to deposit my father's ashes with Gisela and Case, who were also placed there. So they belonged together. They were so evil and enmeshed. They belonged together. And so we did that journey, but that came later in April. Actually, they managed to not fuck up my birthday, 12th of April. I think he came the following week or so afterwards. Anyway, I wrote here, he would have turned 89 on the 6th of March. So he literally died 3 days before his 89th birthday. Then I write, no wonder I felt so sick for the last few days. I was intuiting that I was about to receive this news. Probably his spirit reaching out to me as he was dying the previous few days. Because my parents were monsters, but by gods, they were powerful spirits. Very fucking powerful. And indeed had a great hold of me throughout most of my life. Sad but true. Another monster from my family of origin bites the dust. My friend Catherine Holdsworth sent me lots of love hearts, she's a very sweet woman. And I replied, he has been estranged with me, my choice, since 2000. Roaming all over Australia from Perth to Warwick and now Shepparton, Victoria, followed in the itinerant madness of our Phillips family, my father's line. I will probably follow the call of the wild as I age too, but all I ever needed was stability and safety, which I never got with Gisela, David, Case, Trevor, or Angela, or indeed with my husband Michael either. Phil Harris, who's a family friend from my Jewish community in New Zealand, wrote, wish you a long life from all of us. His parents were dear friends of mine, Kit and Joe Harris. Thanks, Phil. In the Jewish tradition, Be'ezrat Hashem, a long life is not quite so desirable. But just look at my progenitors. My mother was 83 when she died on 7th of March 2010, and my father would have turned 89 on 6th of March. Amazing. I should have their strength and resilience, but they have broken me down since before my birth. Gah! I am a living miracle, should not still be here, but free of them at last. Hallelujah. Thank you, Hashem, for healing my mind, body, and spirit, and removing evil from my etheric body, and cleansing my heart of their residual filth. Amen v'salah. Thank you to my beautiful friend. Pardon me. I skipped a bit. Hang on, where are we? Thank you to my beautiful friend Jared, who debriefed with me for hours. Love you. You are my truest friend and only family. As a male friend and family. Closest person to having a real family I ever had. Kiss, kiss, kiss. I don't see him very often in the last few years, but we remain close friends as ever. I took the bow for a walk Mad dogs and Kiwis go out in the noonday sun. Well, it was overcast and shady when we left, then cleared to full, blaring, scathing, sunny heat, because I am lucky like that, and the gods love me, ahem. I came back lathered in sweat, which is inconvenient, so I had just taken a shower before our little sojourn through the forest. I set up the chicken swing in their pen and introduced the big hens to it. One seemed to like it, but the other two were wary. I think I will need to train them up during the next few days. Oh well, next adventure. 3rd of March 2016, 10:49 p.m. I woke up early today, probably because I slept so much yesterday. Chest is heavy and becoming productive. I sliced my finger on the remaining glass in the tiny missing window on my front door. I was letting Bobo out, still half asleep, and thought to shove my hand through the window to quickly close the screen. Nup, stupid thing to do. Tore a chunk of skin out of my right forefinger, but it is not too bad. Let it bleed a bit, washed it, and now only sporting a band-aid. The glass shard was blunted as I had knocked most of them down with a hammer. I still, after 23rd of August 2015 that was, Jesus, need to find a glazier who will do such a small job. Oh well, another hot day in paradise. Even the birds are laying low and quiet. Only sound is the wind in the trees, my fountain, and Bobo gnawing at an old carrot I threw out for the chickens. It is soft, but he seems to be enjoying it. Strange little puppy. Tummy slightly less painful, but the muck is now in my chest. I have never had a chest infection start with stomach pains before. Perhaps a separate issue, or the bug has gone to my next most vulnerable spot. Used to be the first place that got sick, my lungs. They must be stronger from all the epic dancing. Time to start Seretide and make my green tea with turmeric, cardamom, cloves, etc. I need to buy honey too. I need to get to a doctor and get another script for Ventolin too, because my asthma hasn't been too bad in recent months, but I fear it going downhill dramatically. When it does, it goes very bad very quick. Today at the dog park, a sweet little Pomeranian named Coco came up and wanted to sit on my lap. Not my black little poodle Shih Tzu cross friend Coco down the road, but another Coco. She looked at me with those incredibly discerning Pomeranian eyes. It was love. My little Beauregard was occupied chasing the cavoodles and the little Pom poodle cross named Lola. So Coco and I had a little chat in German. I told her she was a beautiful little girl, and she nodded agreeably. Her owner was a young Filipina girl. She was very patient and watched Coco and I have our little chat. She was a sweet teenager. Coco was scared of all the other puppies as she was 4 years old and they used to live on acreage, so Coco was used to doing her own thing. I told the girl that she would get used to all the other dogs. It made me miss Bella Rosa very much. I'm fond of my little rambunctious blokey bloke Bobo, but he is no Pomeranian. Laughing my arse off. He had such fun chasing and playing with the girls that he is lying on the living room floor, completely exhausted. 4:44 p.m. At the dog park with Bobo, no other puppies. I have gold spray paint on my sore hand as I painted my 3 monk ornaments, so they look nicer sitting under the bamboo. I worried the bow might get into the wet paint, so we walked to the dog park. Plenty of large dogs in the big dog area. Bo is just watching them silently. I am not feeling very well. Another resting day and night for me. I cleaned out the worm compost. That was a bit of an effort. My band-aids kept getting soaked. Finally I found a waterproof one. See how long that lasts. 3rd of March 2014. Oh, I forgot to tell you, at Lynn, a great surprise was in store for me this Arvo, my morning. Can you guess? Yuppers, clever woman. The dragon fruit is obliging me with more flower buds. They are tiny, but they are there. So let's hope this time the plant doesn't drop all the lovely fecund flowers without fruiting. I have my fingers crossed. Still dropping all the fruits, babies. I also brought home 2 sets of scales. They both say I weigh 80 kilos, which is a flattering fib. Last time I weighed myself, I was 82 kilos, and I'm not dieting. Never diet. Filthy 4-letter word, even has the word die in it. So how the hell can I have lost more weight? The dancing would not be enough, as I still eat pies, pizza and chips. So I am rather perplexed. I shall have to weigh myself on creatures, more modern, accurate scales, or I will think I am fading away to nothing without even trying, which freaks the hell out of me. Regardless, I am off to the GP for a blood test for cancer markers, as I am not happy about the other huge chunk of flesh being removed from my hand, and on the same day I will be getting my stitches out of that flesh wound. I never really worried about getting cancer before, this being a chronic and irrational phobia of my former mother. But I can see that aging is not for sissies, and my beautiful, fine, sensitive, fair and freckled flesh is starting to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous sun exposure for the past almost 49 years. So it behooves me to just double check, just in case, especially as my uncle in Germany died of advanced melanoma. He must have been one hell of a sun worshipper, as there is not much sun in Germany. All the same, with my German, Polish, Irish, Scottish, English, New Zealand, and now Aussie skin, I prefer not to take any risks. Constant craving for love, intimacy and affection is killing me slowly with his smile, which faded in the dawn of time, and so began the painful sloughing off of emotions and the aborted libidinous pursuit of unattainable dreams of partnership and loyalty and genuine caring. They wonder why I give them hell when they bring me hell in a handbasket and ask me to turn it into heaven. Not my role. I am not your angel or your God or your mirror image victim. I can't fix you, change you, make you into a sentient being. If you don't have the emotional IQ, or the equipment to be a partner of mine, then hey, can you quit staring at me with those fixated rape eyes and faking you actually desire me? I knew you were a sham, but I succumbed anyway. Hey, it's what I do, believing in princes and fairy tale knights of shining armour and true love and toads in holes and spotted dicks and useless, utter pricks. But hey, you get that. But in my world of my creation, there is only life and love, and I am done with loss, abuse, and your ambivalence. Home from picking up Crystal, watching her teach her students, and our lovely sangria and dinner. Now watching my grandson, Ramon the rare rabbit, going crazy in my living room. He is bouncing all over the place. He must smell Crystal on my clothes. I bring him home to her tomorrow night after her other class. Oh, thank you, Charlie. That's just so lovely of you. Sighs. I bring him home to her tomorrow night after her other class. Oh, he is so full of beans or carrots tonight. Almost a mad March hare. Perhaps I need to put on a hat and make a nice pot of tea. I am with Crystal, observing her teaching clown to her burlesque students. Fascinating. Then we will go have some dinner. I hope for jackpot noodles, smiley face. It was quite stressful at the airport, as it is all these huge car park buildings and a long walk from 30 minutes free parking area. We got lost in the valet parking, but some gentleman told us how to get out of there and to find my car park area. This is going back in time because I picked her up from the airport before I went to her class. Waiting for my girl to disembark the plane. Crystal arrives back from Melbourne this arvo. I am happy she will be home. Ramon will be happy to have his mama back. He has been so good for Grandma. I miss him terribly. He was a wonderful little spirit, that rabbit. One of the biggest loves of my life, actually, if truth be known. A rabbit. Can you imagine that? 3rd of March 2013. I spent the afternoon and evening with Crystal and Jared. We had coffee, looked at Merthyr Village shops, then played in the rain at New Farm Park, running from rosebed to rosebed, smelling all the lovely roses. Crystal and Jared. What are all these white vans doing driving around on a Sunday afternoon? It's a bit odd. Just saw 2 go by in quick succession. Anyway, sorry. Crystal and Jared leapt about in the puddles and flooded paths, kicking up water and letting their inner childs play. Inner kids play, I wrote, but inner child, same thing. Crystal got stuck in some rose brambles, pretending to be off with the fae. Jared was a rather disturbing gnome in another bramble. I trotted around in my high-heeled docks, those beautiful studded ones. trying to avoid sinking in the saturated grass, and caught my umbrella in a rose arbour. Later we went back to Crystal's place and had tea and read cards, a lovely way to spend a rainy Sunday. And I'm glad I preserved that memory. It's a beautiful memory of a beautiful afternoon and evening I spent with the two of them. March 3rd, 2012. I had a lovely evening and am grateful for the healing I received from my loving friends on here and on Pow Talk. You are amazing, my light that shines and gives me warmth and hope. I love you all. I had a great night last night, but woke up with pains, so that was another bummer, but feel much better now. March 3rd, 2011. I went to the dentist at QE2 today so my back molar could be filled at long last. I got sick of spitting bone chips. Lol. Now I need another appointment for a clean and scale and to see if I'm still getting pain in the lower back teeth or if it was referred pain from the giant chasm on the top back molars. Jesus. All my patient files missing from the hospital, including all those years of really poor dentistry, by the way. I had a lot to hide. That's why they destroyed my file, isn't it? Cowards. Dogs. What can you do? This is our government here in Australia and Queensland. Malfeasant, reprehensible, and fucking evil. To dispose of all the patient files of, not all but many patient files of women in the class action against that TVT tape, to obfuscate and hide their corruption and evil, the ultimate act of treachery and cowardice. I just have to shake my head at what's been done to women like me, many of us. By the way, they're still dragging their chain and giving us our compensation. They said it would come this year and we're now into the 3rd of March, so I wonder how long they'll drag their tuchuses on that one as well. It's just putrid is what it is. Then I came home and potted in the garden, hungry now. 3rd of March 2010. Mum was still comfortable at 5 p.m. this afternoon when I left her bedside. My nose is itchy. I feel like my soul has been sucked out of me, totally exhausted. Just waiting and watching her life ebb slowly away is making me feel like I'm dying too. Very likely she was drawing on my energy because she was a powerful but evil spirit. Let's face it, that's the truth, people. I hope she passes quickly and peacefully. She is one strong, strong woman, even in palliative care. Very powerful woman, my mother. If my mother could have turned her power to do good in this world, she could have done amazing things for this planet. But she was a selfish, fucking, pedophile enabling narcopath who was greedy and corrupt, did nothing but rob and destroy her own daughters. So there is that. It's 1:04 a.m. and I feel so tired that my eyeballs feel like they've been stapled through my pupils and held open by toothpicks. Mum still slowly dying, but comfortable on the morphine infusion. At least her pain is controlled better now, which I fought hard for, to make sure she was kept comfortable as a basic human right, by the way. I fought that fucking Redlands Hospital every inch of the way. And I can only hope and pray that when my time comes, someone will fight to make sure I'm kept comfortable too. Because my daughters are not there for me when I tell them I'm dying. The low-life scum dogs that I gave birth to. So, I fought for my own enemy, my own mother, to be kept comfortable in her pain. Because I'm a decent human being, and that's the barest minimum you can expect from any of your children, is to do the decent thing by you in your moment of vulnerability and impending death. Just saying. Her descendants have a different kind of pain. The pain of waiting for the inevitable passage of her soul from one existence to another. And thus concludes today's writings of even date. I told you it was going to be heavy, and it has indeed been heavy, and my eyes are sore and tired from just the immersion in the old grief. But as I always do, I will rise above it. I will rejoice in what's left of my life. And I will hope and pray that I find a loving partner who I can spend many years, if the gods allow it, of joy and bliss and delight with, who will be there for me, for the good times, and perhaps there for me when I cede my life on this planet and enter the void. Although I don't expect that. I don't expect a man to be with me when I get old and die, but if I find someone who truly loves me, and those are the cards dealt to me, that's my fate, then I hope it's someone kind who will sit and hold my hand at my bedside and laugh and sing songs to me and tell me funny, happy anecdotes and memories from our life together, and will send me into paradise with deep love and affection, and will fight like I did for my evil mother and make sure that I'm gifted enough pain relief so I can die in comfort and ease and dignity. And this is if, by the way, I don't choose, as I often think may be the ultimate outcome of leaving this life by my own hand, because it's so fucking untenable at times that I don't know how I can hold on much longer, right? But if the gods allow me a longer life and bliss and joy surrounded by people who truly do love me, then perhaps that might be my other end, is dying eventually of old age, surrounded by good, kind, nurturing, strong, protective, honouring, loving people who will let me go with kindness and mercy and compassion and grace. So mote it be. Amen. V'salah. But anyway, let us rejoice in each day that the gods allot to us and not live in death consciousness too much. I mean, we have to be realistic that eventually our time comes to all of us, but in the meantime, fight for your joy, fight for your dance, fight for your music, fight for your art, fight for the love you hold precious and deep within your soul for the ones who love you back. Fight to be together if you possibly can, if the love is real and authentic and deep and nourishing and nurturing and respectful and honouring. Fight to be with the ones who love you and whom you love. Fight to be with your birdie. Fight to be with your pets. Fight to be with your children who treat you with kindness and compassion and deep love, and whom you love in return. Fight to be with your friends. Fight to be with your co-workers or business associates who also treat you kindly. Fight for your breath. Fight for your heart. Fight for your souls. Fight for our planet Earth. Some motherfucker wants to blip us out with the press of a button, so fight that too. Hold the line. Hold yourself sacred in the eyes of all the gods watching us here on planet Earth. Don't fuck it up. And never, ever let the bastards grind you, me, us down. Mama T has spoken. Bye for now.